Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order? In section 3.3, we were evaluating expressions with the order of operations. In this section, we're actually going to use variables to write expressions. We're going to represent situations with quantities that maybe are unknown or changing. And so we're going to start at the bottom, but I do want to point out you might want to just write this down somewhere, right? A variable, right? So letters in math, any letter, typically we use lowercase. Variables represent quantities that change. And what that means is they describe situations where you don't really know all of the numbers, and some of them might be different in certain situations. So if we look here at example A, and these are at the bottom of the page, and we were to write an expression based on these situations. 5 minutes more than time t. Do I really know what time it is right now? No, I don't. I know that it is time t. Okay, so that's step one. That's why we're using a variable, because it's 5 minutes more than some time at some point. What I like to then start with is identifying the words that signify a specific math operation. So in this particular case, more than is addition. Right? So I have 5 minutes more than t. 5 plus t. Okay. In this case, in B, the math word is decreased by, which is subtraction. Right. I have 10 erasers. I gave some of them away. My number has decreased, but I don't know how many I've given away. Which sounds weird to say, because you probably would be counting how many you gave away. But let's say that you just pulled a handful out of your pocket and gave them to your friend. Your 10 erasers was decreased by some number. Right. I have some nectarines. I don't know how many I have. I got a pile of nectarines. Okay? And I'm going to share it with 3 people. Now, shared here is the key word. Well, shared equally, I guess. They probably should be paired together. When you're sharing something equally, that's division. And you're sharing it with 3 friends. I do also want to point out that division can also be written, not like that. There we go. Using the slash. It can also be written using the fraction bar. And in D, there's a couple things going on here. First of all, it's the first time we're going to see multiplication. But you also have addition. And so typically we would solve the multiplication first, according to order of operations. But what's tricky about this one is that I'm actually multiplying the quantity of x plus 8. I'm multiplying 4 times the answer of x plus 8. And so I have to put that in parentheses so that I get the answer to an addition problem first. And then I'd multiply it by 4. At this point, if you have questions about this, I want you to stop and see me so we can talk about some different situations. There is also some IXL skills link that talk about this directly. You can also use a table to help you write your algebraic expression or to represent a situation. So Darius bought some comic books. Every comic book is $4. How could you write an algebraic expression to represent the total? So he buys 4 comic books. It's 4 times 1, right? $4 times 1 book. He bought 2 comic books. 4 times 2. He bought 3 comic books. 4 times 3. He bought 4 comic books. Right? What if he bought n comic books? Well, the books is that number times my $4. So the algebraic expression would be $4 times n, or 4 times n, or 4 times n. You'll notice I did not use this symbol for multiplication because that's confusing with an x. Pause the screen and see if you can figure out this one about Darius. Darius' sister, Rachel, bought M mystery books for $6.50. This right here, this is kind of the math piece we need to pull out. And we're going to show three ways to write an algebraic expression that represents this. Right? So when you talk about just this underlined portion, right? If I bought 1 book for $6.50, how much would it cost me? $6.50. If I bought 2 books for $6.50, how much would it cost me? $13. Right? We're doing repeated addition. We're adding $6.50 for every book. But if I have 150 books, I don't want to add $6.50 150 times. Instead, I'm going to multiply. And again, just like the last example, you can use the multiplication dot. You could sandwich your variable and your number together. You could also put your variable in the parentheses and then sandwich the number up outside of it. All right. One last piece here. In every expression, you'll have different operations. Each part of an expression that is separated by a plus sign, an addition symbol, or a minus sign, a subtraction symbol, is called a term. And so it's important to be able to recognize how many different terms an expression has. So you'll notice here I have this, I have this, and I have that, all separated by addition or subtraction symbols. And so I have 3 terms. Even though this is technically its own problem of 12 times r, it's still a single term. R divided by 2, still a single term. 19, still its own term. If you have any questions, come and see me. Otherwise, we're logging on to the online textbook and completing 3-4. Make sure you're ready to take your quiz shortly.